Hello friends, today I'm super excited because as you can see, I finally got the lightning collection. Well, I had it in the last video too, but that was just a tease. Let's open it up. And here is Hasbro's new lightning collection, Mighty Morphin White Ranger out of the package, friends. And the first thing you notice about him is that he is not abusing steroids, thankfully. All the Bandai figures in the past, they often looked like roided out and overly muscular compared to how that Rangers actually looked on the show. But thankfully, Hasbro is making them look like they've got, normal-sized human limbs. And also, they're making them look like they're wearing actual fabric because they got wrinkles and stuff in the costume. Like, look at the upper thighs back there and the boots especially, the back of the elbow, all this region around the crotch. Like, they wore actual fabric on the show and it bunched up sometimes. I mean, it was also spandex on the show and never got quite like this wrinkly, I think, but it's definitely a good effort on their part. And it's way more show accurate, I think, than a lot of White Ranger figures have been in the past. Another big difference is that this is the first White Ranger I've had that comes packaged with a karate chop hand, which makes perfect sense because the Rangers are always doing karate on the show, and it's like, finally, something super obvious. I mean, of course, he looks kind of weird just standing there with it, but thankfully he's got like alternate hands too. And then another difference from past releases of Bandai White Rangers is this guy has soft goods. They did not break up the sculpt of the shield here for the sake of articulation. Instead, they just made it like a soft, rubbery plastic piece, and the belt's kind of softer too. It doesn't move around or anything, but you can feel that it's definitely softer. You can feel that the holster down here for Saba is softer, and unlike Bandai releases, this is one solid piece. You can actually slide Saba on in there instead of like wrapping it around. Although I think on the actual Sentai, like they wrapped it around because this looks a bit thicker than it is in the actual show. But that's the only thing I really see that's not like maybe 100% accurate. Like, I don't know, the white eyes of the tiger design, like they look a little long, but I mean, they look accurate. Everything looks pretty accurate to the show. I don't really see anything they should have sculpted that they didn't, where they just like skimped out and painted stuff. Like all the little lines are sculpted there. The lines on the shoulders are sculpted. The cuffs and the cuffs on the boots, everything is sculpted. And then the paint. Paint's got a couple issues, not quite as good as the sculpt. If we look at the head up close, you'll see these lines where it's painted black, and like they painted it mostly good up there, but then down here, that's a little off the sculpted line, isn't it? And then there's this little spot here I don't really like, but I mean, the shade of gold they used is pretty great looking. I really love the shade of gold. It's very nice. And then what the heck is this line on my shoulder pad? Like, that don't look too good. And then there's this weird yellow spot. Is that a spot of gold paint right there? That's not very good, Hasbro, but I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with the paint. Like, they definitely did put effort into this. Like, look, there's a bit of a wash on the belt there. Now, it's not meant to make it look grimy, but it's meant to, like, get the black paint in the little crevices so the lines pop out better. And, it just looks really good because, like, other figures would just leave that unpainted. And, yeah, there's a bit of slop here. Like, there's too much black. It went over the line. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the paint. It's not as good as the sculpt, I think, but it's decent. Articulation, thankfully, is way more than just decent. It is pretty amazing, spoiler alert. First up, he's got a ball joint and hinged head, can go so far back and so far forward, and can get some side to side thanks to that ball joint. Finally, we got that. Thank you, Hasbro. And of course, spins all the way around. Now, you might not notice this right away because of the big shield in the way, but he has a diaphragm joint. Yeah, not just an ab crunch. It is up there under the shield, and it goes all the way around. It's kind of hard to tell how far that joint alone goes because he's also got this reverse ab crunch right down here. And so with those two combined, he can go that far back and this far forward. I mean, this is just incredible articulation already. I haven't even gotten to the arms and legs. I'm already impressed. And he can go side to side. And the ab diaphragm joint, the upper diaphragm joint, the upper ab joint, the thing under the shield, the hidden, diaphragm joint, it can swivel all the way around. There's nothing at the waist, but, this obviously makes up for that. Also partially hidden by the shield are butterfly joints. He can get those arms super far back, and the shield does not really hinder him too much because he just sort of slides around it. And he can get the arms pretty far forward, too. This is such good articulation. And then there's ball joint shoulders, too. And look how high up he can go without having to, without the shield stopping him. Like, it's just... Oh, they came up with such a good solution for this. This is so great. just great. And then, of course, they swivel all the way around. They've got upper arm swivels right there at the shoulder, too. It's kind of weird how the swivels aren't like integrated into the little rings here, but like, I mean, I guess they're reusing the parts for other Rangers later that don't have the little bicep ring things here. So whatever, it's cool. And it's got double elbows. If I can get both of them to go, it's got such good range. It can pretty much just completely crunch. It's really, really good. I mean, look, he can almost completely crunch with just using one of the double elbow joints. Let's use both, and he can touch his own shoulder. It's just impressive. Super, super impressive. I love this figure already. Hinged and swivel wrists. No complaints there. They don't have the weird double ball thing that Bandai's been doing lately. And this one hinges the same way, of course. It's kind of clicky, but that's all right. The ball joint hips go that far forward. They don't really go back because the butt's in the way, but he can do pretty awesome splits. And he's got cuts at the tops of the thighs, double knees. Look at what range he can get. He can kick his own butt even. And then he's got cuts at the top of the boots that swivel around. And hinge and pivot, Marvel Legends style ankles. I wonder why. Amazing articulation, Hasbro. Even better than most Marvel Legends. I'm just so thoroughly impressed. This is some of the best articulation on any figure. They're giving SH Figuarts a run for their money. I am impressed. Now, it's funny, with the Legacy Collection I've just reviewed, Bandai sort of seemed to be imitating the Marvel Legends, and look at this packaging. Bandai, who makes Marvel Legends, sort of seems to be imitating SH Figuarts. Like, this is some nice collector-friendly packaging here. Like, you can just see how, first of all, it's super flat, so you can put it on a shelf and just line it up with other figures in the line, and it's got the logo up here of the series it's from, and half of the Ranger, so you can, like, you could imagine lining up a bunch of Rangers from a bunch of different series, and, like, all the Mighty Morphin ones will have Mighty Morphin, and it'll be, like, red, blue, green, and, you know, you'll just see that right there on the side. The other side, also see the Ranger, if you don't want to see the series logo for whatever reason. Sort of a better picture of the Ranger on the left side than on the right side, like this is half his head. And, you know, if I do kind of have a complaint with this packaging, just this one in particular, I guess, he looks super orange there, but, I mean, I don't know how well you could get gold to come off. I mean, it's maybe better than this. I don't know. Anyways, let's just open her up and see how collector-friendly it is. Only one piece of tape up here. Pretty thin tape, too. Better than Marvel, well, more collector-esque than Marvel Legends. I don't know if it's better. So you can kind of see the lightning bolt logo they got going on back there. It's kind of generic, not really the exact lightning bolt for Mighty Morphin. This is really nice packaging. I'm kind of debating whether I should keep it or not. It's just that nice. Inside the tray, it doesn't look like there are any twist ties. And there aren't. You pretty much just pop everything out and it comes out real easy, except for this alternate head, which you got to get this ponytail through this tiniest little hole and get the tray pretty much inside out of it. But speaking of the head, let's take a look at the accessories now. First, the White Ranger comes with Saba, his sword. Then he comes with a little blast effect for that sword, a right fist, a left fist, and of course that alternate head we saw earlier. Now, getting him to hold Saba, his sword, in his right hand is a little difficult. I managed to do it, but you kind of got to bend the thumb hard to do it. And of course, he pops out super easy. But, like, I feel like the main four fingers are, like, just, I mean, you're not really going to bend them. They're pretty stiff. Bend the thumb. It's much easier. And, like, you can see how it just barely fits in. You got to squish that thumb over the edge pretty much and get it on the handle. I can almost do it. Yeah, there we go. Pretty stiff, could be a little bit better, and then even then when it's in there, it's like the grip is kind of, I can't get him to go, oh, there he goes, under the pinky and everything. Okay, yeah, you can do it under the four fingers, so pretty good, Hasbro. Kind of stiff, kind of hard to pull off, but pretty good work. I'd appreciate something where Saba's head came off and you just slide it into his hand. That'd be kind of nice. But speaking of Saba, nice paint details. They got silver, they got the gold there, they got all the gold details right here, even tiny little gold band in between the hilt and the blade part. I mean, this white part here is not the blade's down there, but you know what I mean, that tiny gold band up in there. And then Saba's head, pretty good. There's a couple nitpicks, but I'm like, this paint detail is very good. So, big nitpick number one, this thing here, the whole thing is gold when only the little triangle thing should be, and then it's not gold over here. What the heck, Hasbro? That's not good. I mean, you should have just left that thing silver. The black, pretty good on the stripes there, but then Saba's face is totally silver. Saba's face is supposed to be white. You should have just left that the molded color. This is too much paint. You'd be better off leaving the gold off and the silver off, frankly. And then Saba's eyes are supposed to be red, but I don't really expect that much detail. It is a very good looking sword overall. And it even comes with this translucent sparks effect, like when the Rangers would hit someone with their weapons on the show, like sparks would fly out, and they're usually like yellowy color, so I don't know why they went with blue, but it's definitely a cool effect. And so what you do is there's an almost imperceptible like little slot in here, and Saba just sort of slides up in that crevice. And I mean, you could do it one of two ways, but you'll know which way is the right way because the blast effect will stick on. If you do it the other way, it doesn't really like clip. Well, I guess you can do it both ways. It just looks kind of weird coming out the tip that way. I think you want it really more on the blade down here. So it's on the blade side and not just poking up through the point at the very end. So kind of cool. So Tommy does, of course, look a little awkward with a karate chop hand all the time. Thankfully, he gets these fists. Let's see how easy they are to swap in and out. Pop this guy off if we can. Yeah, okay. Left hand popped off. Let's pop. These are pretty long pegs. Should make for a pretty easy job poking them in. Right hand. All right, that wasn't so bad. And let's pop the right fist in. Easy peasy. They look like fists. They definitely work well. Let's get that head off now. See how easy that is. Oh, very easy. Like that ball joint, Marvel Legends style. I wonder why, right, guys? And the head is probably the thing I'm most excited to look at because I've seen Sabas before and I've seen helmets on a White Ranger before, but never a Jason David Frank, Tommy Oliver head, and pretty good. I mean, I don't know how much you think it looks like Jason David Frank. I mean, it's definitely there. They're definitely trying. And like they even did the ponytail, like, you know, back in the day when Bandai did the kitty toys for Mighty Morphin, they would not do that because they had to, you know, do the automorphers and the head would flip and, you know, you couldn't really have hair sticking out or anything. That would be a big problem. So Hasbro's digital face paint technology thing, face print technology thing, I should say, because this is totally like a printed on face, works mostly good. Those lips look really good, I think. Like the color on them, like it looks very natural, but the eyes, I see what they're going for, but the eyes are just a little bit sloppy, unfortunately, I think. But overall, on the head, mostly good. Like, when you get him out there at a distance, I think you're just seeing Tommy Oliver and not any sort of Hasbro digital messed up face. So, overall, I really approve. The accessories are definitely a win. Can't think of anything they could have included that they didn't, so I'm happy with it. Pretty cool job, Hasbro. Looking at the scale now, Tommy stands at about 6 1/8 inches tall, which makes him just the right height for fitting in with Marvel Legends style figures like my Spider-Man over there or my DCUC Batman, because the Rangers should be shorter. They are teenagers after all. And here he is with Bandai's final White Ranger figure, the Legacy Collection one, and I'll pop his helmet back on now so we can do a better comparison. And yep, looking at them side by side now, I think it's safe to say that Hasbro made the better White Ranger figure. I mean, it just looks like a real collectible, and Bandai's attempt looks a little more like a toy now that I look at it. Although they are toys, so I don't know what that means. But I'll do a more in-depth review when I get an SH Figuarts White Ranger, which should be on the way in the mail soon. So, pretty much it for comparisons. Overall, this is an amazing White Ranger figure. Let me get Bandai's attempt out of here. Bandai's the old guard. Bandai is gone. Bandai made their figures too tall, too muscly. Hasbro's made them with cooler sculpts and amazing articulation. Yes, the paint's a bit sloppy here there, but you get some awesome accessories. You get that alternate head. I love this figure. Go out and get it if you see it. Okay, that's it. Until next time, peace out, YouTube.